Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Estrogen. I'm trained as a medical doctor. I've been doing clinical and other work for many, many years. And during those years, I made an observation that men delay to seek medical attention, perhaps because of the way society has trained up men never to complain, just to keep quiet about health issues. So last week, we spoke about women and hormonal issues around the menopause. I thought this week I would take that hormonal theme a step further and refer to the men. This program is called Applied Neolife. We belong to an awesome company that supplies us with nutrition and other wellness products and an opportunity to make the world healthier and happier. So let's get started. I've entitled the first slide, A Balancing Act, because really that's what we all have to do in life, but particularly our men. So look, at about the age of 40, men begin to observe changes that they wish wouldn't happen. And the tendency is to go into a phase for several years, perhaps, of disbelief and denial until they are eventually convinced, when they eventually get to being checked out, to accept to being medicated. So the result is that we have so many people on a lot of chronic medication when perhaps we should be looking at another way. And I'm going to explain why I say that. So if you're ready, let's go. This is a man doing exercise, and that is a theme as well. First of all, let's look at the common chronic lifestyle diseases. They're listed over there. Heart and blood vessel diseases, diabetes, we all know. Cancer seems to afflict a lot of people. And neurological degenerative disorders such as dementia. And then, of course, we are increasingly becoming alarmed at the number of people who present with prostate disorders. They might be benign, where it's just the stream that becomes curtailed or becomes slower and slower, or it might even be cancer. And it might be prostatitis as a result of infection, for example. And we know that prostate cancer seems to affect people of the African and Black race more, but all are affected, And this is another issue. ED stands for erectile dysfunction, and there are multiple causes, a large part of which is psychological or stress related, but we also have to consider the health of one, and particularly the health of the cardiovascular system. Amanya is writing on my, yeah, okay. And so it can be a source of a lot of distress, and it can also be the first sign that the cardiovascular system is not functioning very well. So let me just stop temporarily and then share again, because that thing is going to be a challenge. Okay, so let me just go to the previous slide. So that's what we were discussing. So concerns in a nutshell that I think every man should worry about are, the concerns are weight gain, loss of muscle mass, low energy levels, and loss of libido, low libido. Now, the causes of these health challenges most definitely are as a result of lifestyle. That's why many of them are called lifestyle diseases. And so that immediately tells us that we can do something about it, right? Lifestyles such as eating convenience or fast foods. This leads to massive dietary deficiencies. Lifestyles such as riding around in cars, and then you get to wherever you're working and sitting for long periods of time without doing much exercise. That lack of exercise can cause a lot of health challenges. And then a lot of people work in environments where there are lots of toxins. It might be household, or it might be industrial even. And that can cause a lot of hormonal disruptions. And then, of course, there's that increased reliance on technology, such that there's exposure to a lot of electromagnetic frequencies or fields and blue light, and the quality of sleep diminishes, and all those have a knock-on effect. Now, when the man presents, for example, to the doctor with all those complaints eventually, the assumption that is very often made is that it is as a result of diminishing levels of testosterone. And it is bandied around that as you age, your levels decline. That may be so, but it needn't be so. That is the point I'm trying to make, that one doesn't have to allow things to decline rapidly when one can do something about it. And so when that assumption is made, the reflex response is to prescribe a hormone. And yes, there is testosterone that is being prescribed. That's the male hormone. And it comes in various formulations. But now let us interrogate that, yeah? Let us actually ask ourselves, is that the right thing? Now, we are concerned about estrogen dominance in men and in women, as you heard last week, but in men, we are seeing more and more people growing a big belly, losing muscle mass, and developing prostate problems. So this is my plea to all of us on this webinar. When we have a long-range vision, we can see far. And that is the beauty of what we do in our opportunity. We are training ourselves to have a long-range vision, not to wait until problems present themselves and then hope that we can fix them, but to start early. And if you remember, that is always a theme with the opportunity and with how we approach health. So the dangers of external hormones, if there is sleep apnea, that is when there's difficulty or even cessation of breathing during sleep. It happens frequently, and very many people don't even know that they have sleep apnea, stopping to breathe in the middle of the night, okay? It might become worse if external hormones are administered. Skin conditions might become worse. Enlarging breasts. I think all of us know that when we look around, it seems to be a problem these days. And unlike in those days when nutrition was different, okay? All these things that I've mentioned about, we recently had a webinar on blood clots. The risk increases with those external hormones, and the prostate problems increase, And so I wanted us to discuss by going a few steps back and discuss the formation of testosterone. And actually, this is how I got an idea about this week's webinar, because last week we were talking about the female hormones and the fact that progesterone, which is made from cholesterol, does that ring a bell? Through a process, makes progesterone, and then it enters various pathways. But now, this particular pathway is the one that leads to the formation of testosterone and estrogens. Estrogens are many: estrone, estradiol, and estriol, as well as the stress hormones and the other hormones that help to control inflammation in the body and help to control water, sodium balance, and therefore blood pressure. So if we take a step back to the first step, isn't it fascinating to know that cholesterol is very, very important? And yet all of us know that so many people, men and women, but particularly men, have been put on medications to lower cholesterol. Now, I've called progesterone the mother hormone. I've called it the mother hormone because it seems to be the foundation of all the other hormones that, as we've seen in the previous slide. So it is important because it protects against the undesirable effects of too many estrogens or too much estrogen in our system. Even the external ones that I've mentioned, such as the things that we get in petroleum fumes, detergents that are sold out there that have xenoestrogens, plastics, okay? So it is important, even in men, not to have low progesterone or no progesterone, because it is an important one in protecting against the undesirable effects of estrogens that we've just mentioned. Now, other undesirable effects of estrogens include influx of water and sodium, salt, into the cells, causing high blood pressure. If you notice, beyond the age of 40, many people go off and have their blood pressure checked and they're told it is high. And then they are told the cholesterol is high. All those things we need to find a way to control. Unopposed estrogens too high in the body will reduce oxygenation. And once oxygen is low in tissues, that body or that tissue is being set up to develop a cancer. So I'm hoping that all of you are with me as we are connecting dots in a big, big way. And then unopposed estrogens oppose thyroid action. A few weeks ago, we talked about the thyroid gland. They promote blood clotting, as I've mentioned. They thicken bile and can lead to gallbladder disease. They cause zinc loss and copper retention, causing an imbalance there. And unopposed estrogens lead to a decrease in the libido or the sex drive. So we are dealing with a lot, even in men, as regards hormonal imbalances. So now, some introspection here. I think we all have to think deeply and ask ourselves, what can we do about it? How can we take responsibility? And another question is, what has led to this? Yeah. And these are some thoughts that came to mind, very much like testosterone, or very much like cholesterol. You can take whichever you want. Both can be measured. And once something is measurable, it can easily become targeted as the reason. It can easily be targeted as the reason for there to be challenges. Now, let me just recap on cholesterol. Cholesterol is made by cells throughout the body, but especially in the liver. And it is made from a substance derived by the breakdown of sugars and fats called acetate, and it is made in the mitochondria. Those are the little energy-producing parts of the cells within the cells themselves. So we've covered this, but it's good to remind ourselves from time to time. Now, as one grows older, and we're talking about men today, if there isn't sufficient cholesterol, good quality cholesterol, the body will tend to break down muscle. Now, I want you to understand that, yes, that is a concern. I mentioned it as a concern, loss of muscle mass, because if there isn't the right type of cholesterol, the body will look for it somewhere to try and create that progesterone to try and oppose the estrogens. But if the estrogens are too much, then there'll be a problem. Now, on the other hand, eating refined sugar, too much starch, and the wrong kinds of fat in excess of need, when the body says, I've had enough, but you're still eating and still eating and still eating all that sugar, starch, and the wrong types of fat, together with deficiencies of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and particularly if, as we have agreed, we tend to take a ride to wherever we're going and get there and sit down. So lack of exercise as well. Then there will be an overwhelming amount of cholesterol being made out of these ingredients and lack of exercise, right? And then there is the added dimension of stress. So this slide is for all of us to introspect, to ask ourselves what has led to this and what are we going to do about it? I think that's now the more important question. So let's get to action. Let's team up as men and women in the family on a mission to make the world healthier and happier, and make a point of exercising regularly. Now, I want to turn my attention to the Neolife solutions and apply Neolife. And I want us to revisit why we have that wellness triangle. And my question has been, as I was preparing this, has modern lifestyle set us up for all sorts of health challenges, including hormonal imbalance? So we want to get serious to end the trend of poor disease and poor wealth as well. But first of all, let us agree that what we eat is very, very important. In fact, 75% of all chronic diseases are preventable, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Neolife has said, and it continues to say, that the disease prevention formula is this. The key to preventing disease and promoting health is 1, weight management, 2, physical activity, and 3, a diet rich in whole food nutrients. So that is amazing news. You know, it's something that we have all taken for granted, but in this slide, it actually spells it out loud and clear, lest we forget. Okay, so now let's explain the wellness pyramid or wellness triangle. It's supposed to have at the base physical activity and weight management. And then we are supposed to eat lots of whole grains, whole grains as in unprocessed, so that we can get those lovely oils from there that build our cells. You're supposed to eat fruits and vegetables in fairly large amounts, a little bit of protein, animal sourced protein, not too much, and fats and sugars, the right kind, okay? But unfortunately, most unfortunately, the typical lifestyle pyramid looks something like that, where physical activity is just a tip and then too much fats and sugars. And you see, the danger with these fats and sugars of processed foods is that they're very highly addictive. Mark those words. So the result for the guests is that our energy levels dwindle quite rapidly. We lose out a big chunk of health and life, and we live for too many years in the tired and ultimately the sick zone. Now, what we want to do is to ensure that we have healthy cells, because an unhealthy cell cannot allow nutrients in and waste matter out. And that's where we have our flagship product. But today I want to mention that apart from building healthy cell membranes and other membranes within the cell, it has sterols that actually form the very foundation of those things that eventually make the hormones, okay? They're part of the cholesterol molecule that will make your progesterone, that will make all those hormones, including the testosterone, and for the women, the estrogens. So yes, we are blessed and privileged to belong to a family whose focus, right from the beginning in 1958, was cellular nutrition. And so this is what a cell looks like, a diagram of. And inside are the mitochondria that make all the things that we are concerned about: energy, hormones, and everything. So the key message to take away here is that a stitch in time will save lots of trouble, and prevention is better than cure. And we need to regularly make sure that we are on the ball as far as our health is concerned, and to find balance in life. Now, how important are these? And I'm really emphasizing these again. Weight management. You can see that once a gentleman looks something like that, they will have too much estrogen, and that is the beginning of all sorts of trouble. So the choices we make matter, absolutely. And let us focus on solutions and results. Threonine comes up again, but these are what we call the phytonutrients from the cruciferous vegetables. They're very important in opposing that excess estrogen in men and women, but it is more important in men to remember that it is not a luxury. If you build the business nice and strong, you can afford all these things. For example, we need to maintain the muscle mass. So this again is not a luxury, it is a necessity. This is our new packaging in order to have good, strong muscle and low fat in the body, because that fat will lead to not only inflammation, but also too much estrogen running around in the system. Then there's a lot of things. Now I'm going to finish the presentation soon. We have other things like amitone, which will provide an amino acid called arginine, which is important for working together with fruits and vegetables to produce nitric oxide, which is so important for the blood vessels and therefore for libido and for managing that challenge of erectile dysfunction. So you can supplement it, but the important thing is to actually source the right kinds of foods. All those in this picture will provide you with a variety of nutrients and some nitric oxide as well. Very important. Now, core nutrition is this. We have Pro Vitality, and I've shown you the shake already. This is where to begin. Whenever you're advising yourself or a client, you will always start with Pro Vitality and a shake according to the budget. If they can afford both, that's good. If they can afford just part of the Pro Vitality, then Pro Vitality has Treanen. You can start with Treanen and you can build it up. That's Pro Vitality. Then I wanted to tell you about omega-3. The difference with Neolife omega-3 is that it is complete. As you saw, there are all the 8 molecules, omega-3 fatty acids that are involved in human nutrition. So that completeness makes a huge difference with bringing down inflammation and making sure that the hormones are well built, because it is cholesterol. So you're supplementing the right type of cholesterol to build the hormones so that there is a good balance and not too much of the estrogen. Yes, that is just to emphasize that news you can use for all men is that this slide is actually important to remember: salmon oil and zinc. Very important for male health, but it's also important for all of us, because it works with the immune system as well. And then other products that you can think about, and this is just for you to think about and build your way up to them. But I've put Botanical Balance here in a special box just to remind us that it controls blood sugar. We don't want too much blood sugar because that leads to inflammation. Okay, and that's what we're trying to reduce by reducing those processed foods and sugars as well. Magnesium for stress management, and we know that overwhelming research is always pointing to inflammation. Inflammation comes in all forms, and for the guests, we have inflammation beating cleaning products. Now, gentlemen will always say, I am not involved with cleaning my home. That is the department of that lady that I have in the house, I'm married to, or whatever. I really have nothing to do about it. But can I put it to you that your health depends on it? The health of your prostate depends on you participating in what you are cleaning your environment with. For example, your laundry gets done in some laundry compound, and it can potentially be estrogen, lead to estrogen dominance and therefore prostate problems. Now, how easy will it be, gentlemen, to promote a washing powder? It's not beneath anybody to promote a good washing powder and good cleaning products, but it will be to your benefit to do that, because then you are actually lowering the causes of those challenges that we have seen. And then as you remove toxins in your environment, you can remove toxins in yourself from time to time. We have garlic, which is an excellent product for ensuring that the blood flows nicely, your cardiovascular system works well. It does a lot of other things, the skin, it deworms. It's an amazing product, part of the detox. So in summary, if we want to be healthy, there are some lifestyle modifications that we need to become serious about and actually become aware of. Because some of the things we've been doing and taking for granted, we just do it because that's how it is. But let's stop and think and perhaps look around and see whom we can advise as well. But there they are: stop smoking, stop drinking excessive amounts of alcohol, eat a healthy as in food-based, non-processed, organic, whatever you want to call it, diet, and manage weight. Oh gosh, it is so important. Exercise is super important. And then we need to learn ways to manage stress. And I must say, in this family, that is what is emphasized as well. Stress management. One of the biggest reasons people get stressed is because of finances. And then, of course, to supplement. And this is to show you that you can manage stress with this amazing product. And then you can add masculine herbal. It isn't available in all the markets, and I was made to understand that it was in short supply, even in markets where it normally is. But I'm sure it will come back. And make life a balanced life. And in our opportunity, you can achieve all these aspects. You can get a great career, personal relationships, and self-esteem. You can make money. Your physical energy will shoot through the roof as you become better nourished and better exercised. Yes, you will find that your family connections and your community connections are enhanced. Enhancement of community. And socially, you'll enjoy life. You'll get to travel. And of course, having a vision and a reason to be here on earth will enhance your spiritual health as well. And that's what balance is all about. This is one of my missions, to have healthier men. And I'm so sure that the healthier we get our men folk, the wealthier nations on the planet, and particularly in Africa, will become. Thank you. Okay, thank you. You are welcome to have a discussion. As I said, it would be short. However, because of the quality, I prefer to stop the recording. And yeah, so I'm going to stop the recording.